Today I'm taking over the Marlins because it seems like this organization is a complete mess. Rumors are coming out that Bruce Sherman just really is just not trying to win with this team. A recent quote came out that he cares more about his yachts than he does his people within the organization. And Kim Ng recently stepped away from her GM position because one, they weren't willing to give her a contract extension, but also they were looking to hire someone above her, which is crazy because the moves that she's made with this organization has put them in the playoffs, something that they haven't done in years besides 2020. And at the same time, more reports are coming out that she really wasn't given like full control of her job. She was kind of handcuffed, and names were coming out of players that she wanted to sign, but the Marlins went a different direction. And just other roster moves were out of her control when it came down to who they ended up choosing, which is kind of crazy because yes, most of the moves seem to work out. I think Avisel Garcia is one that really kind of stands out as not being the best. Same thing with David Robertson. But for a team that's pretty much cash strapped, she put together a playoff team, and that's pretty impressive. So it'll be interesting to see where she ends up, but you know what? It's time for the Marlins to get serious as an organization, and that's where I'm going to come in. Before we get any further into the video, don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy, who have you covered for your daily fantasy sports. They're currently running a tip-off special for LeBron James for the upcoming season this Tuesday. So if this is something that interests you, go check out the link in the description below or use code ANT when signing up for Underdog Fantasy, and they'll match your first deposit up to $500. But don't worry, if the NBA isn't your thing, they do have other sports that may interest you. So again, link in the description below or use code ANT when signing up, and they'll match your first deposit up to $500. So in terms of these players right here, I'm just not going to bring them back. I think they're aging players that I just don't want in my pitching staff. I feel like that. I think a big thing right now with the Marlins is trying to develop some of these players and also just kind of keeping a lot of them healthy. I mean, when you look at the injuries that are piling up within this starting rotation, the starting pitching throughout the whole organization, it's pretty alarming. Sixto Sanchez is kind of the one that I really point out, which there were major concerns with injuries before they traded for him. So like you've seen, I don't know if you saw some of the pictures that were circulating on Twitter. I mean, he looks like he's gained a lot of weight. There were reports that his velocity was way down coming back from injury. I feel like this is one of those where you kind of just have to chalk it up and be like, if he even pitches, that's a win. Noble Meyer, a recent draft pick. You've got Max Meyer, who had Tommy John recently. And just looking at it, you know, you do have a couple guys like Yuri Perez, Alcantara, who definitely solid pitchers, especially Yuri Perez. I think this guy, if you can manage that inning load, make sure that he stays healthy, you've got a crazy good pitcher right there. Luzardo, fairly good throughout the whole season. Trevor Rogers was injured for like 99% of the year. Edward Cabrera had an injury as well, but you know, there are some good arms within this staff. You just got to keep them healthy. Braxton Garrett, I felt like was kind of here and there as well. Bullpen, AJ Puck, some injuries as well, but again, for the most part, pretty solid. David Robertson, like I said, probably one of those trades that you want to forget about. And for the most part, I felt like, you know what, this team definitely played above expectations, and I think the Josh Bell trade was really good. Arise, an interesting move. You definitely get a really good hitting second baseman, but was it worth trading away Pablo Lopez for that? I don't know if that really made sense. Jake Berger, I thought was a great acquisition at the deadline, but then you kind of look at the rest of the team and it's interesting. It's interesting. Obviously, Jazz Chisholm, major injury concerns, staying healthy throughout the year. Jorge Soler is Jorge Soler, you know what you're getting. So I think with this team, I think we got to find a couple pieces to kind of build around, especially on the offensive side of things, especially with the Marlins Stadium being a very pitcher heavy or a pitcher friendly park. You got to find those guys that can just hit, and that's kind of what Luis Ariz is. But just looking at the team, I feel like we need something. Like, I'm okay with Josh Bell for a season or two. Same thing with Soler. Jazz, if he could, you know, he could put something together. I feel like he could play center for us. Third, second's pretty good. Shortstop, we need a shortstop. We need a shortstop in this team. So let's get past the exclusive negotiations and let me show you the draft picks, because I actually think we've got a guy that we could put into the outfield. He's got good fielding, he's got good reactions, really good speed, and he's a switch hitter, decent hitting stats, 74 overall, B potential. We got him with the 20th pick of 10th pick of the draft. There was another player that was an outfielder that I considered, but I went with Jason Kurtz instead. So high 80s potential. We've got Dan Whitehead, who can also play the corner positions, but I definitely think he's more of a first baseman. 6'3", power for days, could potentially see him. We've got Rick Carson, pitcher, Stuart Lawson, another pitcher, Francisco Torres, catcher. Just kidding. Starting pitcher. I saw the C in the potential. I thought catcher. And then Kurt Connell, a potential, and David Myers, a potential. So we probably won't see like these guys, but potentially we could. I think Jason Kurtz is a name to watch out for. Okay, so free agent wise, we're gonna have a little bit of money to play with. It says 150. I haven't done arbitration or contracts yet. I've just been kind of looking at the team, trying to get an idea of what I want. I think pitching wise, I think we're pretty good. I don't hate this situation that we've got going on here. I'm like pretty happy with our pitchers. I think our bullpen could definitely use a little bit of a boost. And offensively, honestly, I kind of want to see what this team can do. So let's see. I think he's got one more year. So I really just think shortstop. Just because John Birdie is a little bit older, I think he's going to start to regress a little bit. I think he'd be a good little bench bat for us. We've got a couple other guys. Jordan Groshans maybe plays, but realistically, I think we could use a shortstop. And a name that I feel like not bad, Ahmed Rosario. You know, the Marlins do like their Hispanic players, the Dominicans, the Cubans, and I feel like Ahmed Rosario, you know what, fits that demographic. He's a guy that, like, yeah, he got traded to the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers might bring him back, but at the same time, maybe the Marlins just bring him in on like maybe a year deal with an option or two and see what they can do there and go from there. Outfield, maybe use somebody that like hits lefties well, someone that, you know, comes off the bench, maybe doesn't start a lot. And then I think the bullpen is an area I'm gonna probably assign a little bit too many players, couple players that we don't need, just to have a little bit of depth. But shortstop, I feel like Ahmed Rosario, I don't think I can really go big right now. I just want to see what happens with this team. You know, maybe bring in Gary Sanchez. Maybe Gary Sanchez starts for the squad as well. I don't know. We'll make some moves though. Talk about this team. I kind of like it. I think we're somehow ranked 9th, which sure, I'll take it. Pitching rotation, haven't touched. I felt like we were doing pretty well. I did want to bolster up the bullpen a little bit. I didn't really get who I wanted to. I didn't want to spend money on Josh Hader. I didn't want to go out and spend big money on bullpen help, but looking back on it, I probably should have tried to get at least one of the bigger names. We got Joe Jimenez and Miguel Castro. So like $3 million for Castro, 2.5 for Jimenez, and then down here, I forgot that they traded for Brian Weathers. I think that was the Garrett Cooper trade. And then we do still have Matt Barnes, but realistically, I doubt I use him. So there's that. I think we also have somebody on waivers. We do, JT Chargois, which I did release Avisail Garcia, and then looking at the team now, I brought in Ramon Laureano to face lefties. We'll see how he does. $4 million, probably a little too much. I did bring in Gary Sanchez. I thought, why not? $7.5 million with the club option, and Ahmed Rosario, $5 million with the club option. So we'll see how those two additions help the team. I just kind of want to see what this team can do. There's a couple others in the farm system that I signed, but now I'm like kind of forgetting who I did bring in. Oh, Tapia was one. I guess I didn't really sign as much as I thought. JJ Matievich was another name, but like, I guess I didn't go as crazy as I thought I did. I signed a couple others to kind of fill out the team a little bit. Might have to sign a few more. But yeah, I guess I didn't go too crazy. I guess I just kind of brought in a couple pieces that I thought would really improve the team. Somehow gets us 9th ranked. So let's get through the first season. All right, we're at the deadline and we're currently 13.5 back. The thing is, the Braves have made a move that like it's just made them even better. Where are they? They acquired Edwin Diaz. So there's that. I don't know if they've made a change to their offensive side of things. They brought in Harry Ford, Randall Grichuk, and it seems like that's it. But like picking up Edwin Diaz is kind of crazy. I don't even know what the trade was, but yeah, we're 13.5 back. We do hold the 2nd spot for the wild card, but like 1, 2, 4, 4.5 games back. It's a very tight race, and we need to step up our team. Offensively, we're not doing bad, but we're not doing great, right? Like a lot of players are hitting around 260-ish, right? 250, 260. And like, again, it's not bad, but I need someone that's really going to take this team to the next level. And that's what I was kind of hoping I would find out, because I knew we'd have some guys who would be good. I just wanted to see if there would be someone that would kind of set themselves apart from the rest of the group or the crew. I do want to extend Soler's contract one more season. He's usually good for like a season or two. And then I had to send down Jesus Sanchez. He was hitting like 190, and no one else is really like, there's a couple guys where I'm like, yeah, that's really good. But man, no one's really standing out. I had to send down Edward Cabrera. As you can see, he had a 7 ERA and 17 starts. I need to actually put him over here so he starts starting in AAA. but I'm keeping my eye on some of these guys. As you can see, like things are going good, things are going bad, but pitching wise, we're not doing great. Luzardo's struggling, Perez is struggling, we've got Sixto struggling, the bullpen is definitely struggling, and I was kind of banking on them being that part of the squad that would kind of take us to the postseason. And right now, I kind of feel like the offense is the spot that's like doing just enough to get those wins for us. So I definitely need some bullpen help. I definitely need offense. I think like Jake Berger, see potential. He's probably gonna stick around like this area for like production. 260. He's gonna hit me like 30-ish home runs. Like he's gonna get home runs, but he might just be a guy that I have to throw in versus matchups, like versus lefties and things like that. And then everybody else is like okay. So like I don't really know. I feel like Josh Bell, his contract's expiring. He might be a guy I look to replace. We do have Garrett Cooper, who's facing only lefties. So like again, I feel like we need a little bit of help, and I think Josh Bell might be one of those guys that gets moved, even though in real life he had a crazy good half a season with the Marlins. I just feel like he might be a guy that I need to replace, and we don't really have anybody. JJ Matievich is actually doing really well in AAA, a guy that I signed. We have Dan Whitehead, who we drafted, who in AA is doing okay, but like he's definitely not ready yet. Let's see who else. This guy I signed in free agency, and I was kind of looking through it, and I totally remembered that I signed a couple guys that were like lower rated, but had C potential, and I'm trying to see if I can find one of those guys now. And let me see. It wasn't. Oh, I signed this guy, 18 years old, center fielder. He's got some good hitting stats. I don't know if we'll use him. He doesn't look bad though. He doesn't look bad. And the other one was this guy. Here's one at Nathan Hickey, and then Nigel Ramirez, as you can see, a free agent signing as well. So yeah, there were a couple guys like mid to low 60s, 18-year-old with C potential that could feature. I don't know if they will. Kurtz got off to a really slow start. He's starting to pick things up slowly, so that's good. And again, there's just really not anybody. Oh, Jordan Groshans. The thing is, like, I don't really need a shortstop right now, and like Jake Berger's doing enough, so I would rather give that every day at bats to Groshans in AAA. You know what I mean? I don't want to just bring him up and then he just sits on the bench. So realistically, if I'm looking for something, it's an outfielder. I need someone to just really hit the ball, because Kurt's not ready yet, and there's got to be someone that's available for outfield. There's got to be. Let's see, Birdie. I guess Hampson. Do we just give it to Hampson and then just really put the focus and the energy into the bullpen? That might actually be what I have to do. I guess first base wouldn't be a bad option either. Is there anybody? Why is Correa and Ellie De La Cruz available? Duvall's available. Oh, okay. Manoah or Mize. I kind of like that. Clark Schmidt, a little cheaper option. Robbie Ray, no thank you. Sandlin's available. Really? Okay. Gavin Sheets, go back to the White Sox, pick up another, impact power bat. Could do that, and he also plays the outfield. Could be helpful. He may not play the best of outfields, but he might get the job done. Justin Topa might be okay for a season. Gregory Soto's another one that could be okay for a season. Kittredge, okay, all right. You know what? I don't hate the Gavin Sheets thing. Unite him with his buddy Jake Berger, and then that gives me a little bit more power into the lineup. He can also play first base. I don't hate that. Who could I give them? I guess something that they want. But let's go and get Gavin Sheets. Let's see how that works. And what do they want? Second base, third base, or first base? I feel like we have some of that. Second base, Ian Lewis. We got Nigel Ramirez. What about Xavier Edwards? I feel like you want him. You can have him, and then I'll give you Josh Bell. It is a little bit, but like I guess we keep Josh Bell and we rock with Garrett Cooper. Or we give them Garrett Cooper and then just keep Josh Bell. Ah, man, Josh Bell is regressing. Is Cooper regressing? No. Okay, so we'll trade Josh Bell because he's regressing. We'll give them Xavier Edwards as well, and we'll get Gavin Sheets. Now it's time for some bullpen help. All right, I'm going to send Yuri Perez down because he is struggling, and I feel like, you know what? Let's just send him down, and let's pick up a pitcher. Oh, Alex Wood's a lefty. That would leave us with, what, 4 lefties in the rotation? So I looked around the standings. I looked around the wild card. The Brewers are 9 games out of the wild card and also over 10 games out of the Central. With 2 pitchers becoming free agents, I'm just saying we're gonna make a big move. Corbin Burnes is gonna become a Miami Marlin. I'm gonna trade Braxton Garrett, Ramon Laureano, and Garrett Cooper. These were like one of the only 3 players that they would make this deal possible. The only other ones I think was like Garrett Hampson and Jordan Groshans, who I feel like I don't want to trade them away. And if the Brewers are willing to take away these 3 for Corbin Burnes, I feel like that's a good deal. All right, I'm gonna get Justin Topa from the Mariners, who are also out of the playoff race, so that gives me 1 reliever, and then I'm gonna look for at least 1 more. Cody Hoyer is not a bad idea, and if the Cubs are willing to trade him, let's pick him up. They want a catcher, starter, first baseman, or right fielder. I have kind of cleaned out the squad a little bit, so I'll give them Troy Johnston and also Zamora, and that'll be my last reliever that I acquire. I think that should do it. I think that should, because then we get rid of Bender, and then we can also, actually no, that should be fine. I think we should be good now. So I lied. Yuri Perez is going to be now our 5 starter, but Corbin Burnes makes our rotation look a lot better. And then the bullpen, we've made a couple changes like I showed you. Lineup wise, I do feel like we're a little bit weaker, but we'll see. Like I don't hate the moves that we made. I think the Corbin Burnes one is kind of crazy. I also am going to try to extend his contract. We'll do 6 years. We'll backload that bad boy, and we'll go like that. I also wanted to go for, there was another one, Soler. Let's do 1 more season. Let's give him, he wants, what, he says he's looking for 6 mil, and I'm already up to 8.5. What? Okay, I'm gonna hold off there, but I am gonna try to go for a rise. We're gonna go for just shy of 10 mil. We're gonna go, what is this, 9? Okay, that works. So those are gonna be the 2 extensions, and that's gonna be the trade. We're somehow still ranked in the top. We're actually the top 5 teams in baseball according to just like on paper. I don't know about that. All right, so we made the postseason as a wild card team at 89-73, which is cool. But the thing is, we are pretty far off the Braves. We're 15 games back, right? And then you look at the wild card. Yeah, we're pretty far behind even the Dodgers, but at least we're pretty far ahead of the Phillies as well. So that's good to see. And as you can see, 200 win teams in the West. You had the Braves win 100, the Rangers won 100, the Orioles won 94. Like we're pretty far off in terms of wins and losses to the top teams. Corbin Burnes, though, I think is going to be a good piece for us moving forward. I think we're gonna have to be smart with our money now, but I think he's gonna be a man. He's gonna be a key piece. He's gonna be the man. Acuna, 62 home runs. Holy cow. 45 doubles. Ooh, that's a season. I mean, Soto hit 52. Holy cow. And then they signed Ohtani, who hit 53. Man, that's crazy. On the other side, Trout won MVP with 50 home runs. McClanahan and Ohtani are the Cy Young winners. Okay. Batting title, you guys kind of saw that. Josh Naylor won it there. Reliever of the year went to Sam Henches and also David Bednar. And then we've got Andy Rodriguez as the rookie of the year along with Nolan Shanuel. So, okay. It'll be interesting to see what they did with this bullpen here, which honestly doesn't look too bad besides Bender being in the team and then also Cabrera getting called back up. So let's sort that out. We'll bring back Miguel Castro and then probably call up whoever needs to be called up, which is probably an offensive player. So let's go do that real quick. All right, so Sixto was the long reliever for like the second half of the season, and he actually wasn't bad. Do I think he's going to continue to do well? Probably not, but we'll give him another season, see what he can do. Okert wasn't that great. I think bullpen is going to be an area where I really need to like focus in the free agency in the off season, because it was a mess this year. Tanner Scott started to regress. Miguel Castro wasn't bad, but realistically doesn't look like he's going to get much better. Cody Hoyer, I think, is going to be a good pickup for us. And then Justin Topa, 1 season. I think he did the job. Puck, I'm hoping continues to develop because I want to see more of that. Next up, Alcantara apparently ended the season on a cold streak, but he still had a really good season. Corbin Burnes, like I said, is going to be a key piece for us moving forward. I think those 2-1-2 going to be fantastic for us. I think Luzardo probably won't develop too much more, but if we can have him as like our 3 or 4 in the rotation, I think we'll be okay. Same thing with Trevor Rogers. It looks like he'll be pretty good. And Yuri Perez, I think it's going to be pretty good. So I think our 5, I do have some questions about these 2, but I think we'll be all right. Lineup wise, they sent down Brian De La Cruz, who looked like he kind of cooled off. But Tapia only had 71 at bats. Wasn't terrible. Nick Fortes, yeah, Solano, I signed in free agency as like a last minute, I need a guy off the bench. And to be honest, he was pretty good. So I'm not going to complain about that. John Birdie also wasn't terrible. Jorge Alfaro got called up instead of, what, Jesus Sanchez? Who else was sent down? It would have been Jesus Sanchez because I called up Jesus Sanchez. Okay. I don't know what to do with him. He's going to be tough. Kurtz up to a 78. Uh-oh. Looks like he got... Oh, we're going to have to keep an eye on that because that's 78 is pretty good. And his hitting stats look pretty good. Arise with the 366 on base percentage. That's my leadoff guy. Jazz, not bad. Not bad at all. 28 home runs, 340 on base percentage. Okay. Jake Berger, 40 home runs. Keep doing that. That's all I need you to do. Just hit home runs and I can look past the average on base percentage. Bring in the RBIs. We're good to go. Soler, like that. We got Gary Sanchez, who 21 home runs. I was kind of hoping for closer to 30. We'll see. I might pick up the option. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like he improved a little bit, so like I'm not too stressed about it. Gavin Sheets was pretty good. I like seeing that from him. Brian De La Cruz cooled off a little bit, but honestly not a bad season. But the thing is, like, am I okay with just not bad, or do I want to elevate this team to the next level? Garrett Hampson is up to an 80, even though his numbers weren't that great once he became an everyday guy. And Ahmed Rosario definitely cooled off because he was hitting like 280 or something like that. On base percentage is a little low, but honestly 280 to 276 isn't that bad. But I really need that on base percentage to be higher. And I think what, $5 million, I'd probably pick up the option. So here we go. Oh, we got to play the Dodgers, man. So we lose, we win. It comes down to Luzardo. We beat the Dodgers. Wow. Okay. So I will let Rogers go. But the thing is, like, I kind of want... Do I do that? I guess. You know what? We're going to go Yuri Perez. All right. Yuri Perez, day one against the Braves. We lose 6-4. That's tough. Second game, we do win. We lose 7-1. And then we're eliminated by the Braves. But we saw what the Braves did this season. They're really good. It's going to be a tough matchup for us, the Rangers, to beat the Braves anyways. Now I got to figure out what to do with this team. So 2 players retire. That's okay. I'm not too stressed about that. Tanner Scott, I'm going to let walk. I think I am going to pick up this option. Honestly, I kind of wish I could see like who's going to be a free agent. Like $7.5 million is really not that bad. But at the same time, I feel like there could be a good catcher available, and I don't know. So like maybe I decline it and then pick him up on a different deal, see what happens. Soler, I said I wanted to bring back. See, he wanted what, $9 million during the season. Now he's willing to take $6 million. You know what? I'll be generous. I'll give you an extra $500,000, $6.5 million. Ahmed Rosario, I am going to take this option. I know there are going to be some names in free agency, but I think for $5 million, even if he's just a platoon guy, I think $5 million is a pretty good deal. Garrett Hampson, again, I think if we can sign him for, okay, 7.5, I guess we can work with that. Miguel Castro, if he wants like $2 million, 1.5, even better. Raimel Tapia, I think I'm gonna let walk. Same thing with Barnes and Solano. So we've got our contract offers out there. Is that, I gotta hire some guys. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna check out free agency and let's see who we're gonna target. So to start the season, we're currently ranked 4th, which again, I feel like we're a little overrated. But at the same time, when you look at our pitching staff, I feel like we're looking pretty good. Edward Cabrera is getting the call for the long relief spot. I was going to give it to Sixto, but I don't have any more options for Cabrera. And I have a feeling somebody would pick him up off waivers, so I don't want to lose him. Weathers is also going to be one of our lefties for the bullpen. And as you can see, I brought in Sir Anthony Dominguez. He was good. The last time I picked him up, I figured let's give him another shot. Let's see how he does. 1 year, $4 million. Other than that, I feel like this is kind of the squad. I brought in Trevor Richards as well. Back to where it all began. And this time as a reliever. I think he was a starter last time. Yeah. So yeah, this is the team. I actually think we look pretty good. 68 overall for Weathers. Not the best, but that's what we got. And like budget-wise, $43 million. Plenty to work with. Offensively, De La Cruz goes to the bench. Jesus Sanchez goes to the bench. Groshans is on the bench because I looked up his stats and just like his baseball reference page, I saw he was playing a lot of first base. I'm going to put him at first base versus lefties. We'll see how it goes. And then Hampson's back as well. And as you can kind of see with the team, Gavin Sheets, Danny Jansen is who I went with at catcher instead of Gary Sanchez. I thought younger, beat potential, should develop. We'll give him a shot at catcher, see how he does. And then we picked up Alex Verdugo, who hits righties really well. I needed another outfielder that hit well. And I looked at what Verdugo did the last 2 seasons. He's hit pretty well. And for 13 mil, I thought, you know what? Let's throw him into the team. And also our young 19-year-old outfielder, Jason Kurtz. So we got a little bit of a change in the outfield. De La Cruz comes in to face lefties. I do still need to figure out a way to get Verdugo in every day, but I think versus righties is definitely where he needs to be. This is the team. I actually kind of like it. I think that if the offense can just do what they did last year, maybe a little bit better, and the pitching does what I expect them to do, we should easily be a postseason team. Can we beat the Braves? I don't know. But one thing that I did like seeing was that Juan Soto went to the Athletics and not the Braves, who were also in the race for him. So what did the Braves do to make their team better? Nothing. They went and got Jake Bauers for the outfield. Is that what they did this offseason? Their pitching still looks really good, but I mean, I can't really complain. 1 out of 9 hitters is bad. Like, okay. So we won the division at 96-66. We beat the Braves. And I actually think the Braves were 3rd. They didn't even make the postseason this year, and they're the #1 ranked team on paper. We are still top 5, and I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't see where we were ranked last season as a team, so let's kind of see where we're at this year. 10th for batting average, which is not bad. What about runs? 7th, also not bad, so we're a top 10 offense. What about pitching-wise really quickly? ERA-wise, we're top 5, so yeah, like I said, I just needed the pitching to do really well. Look at what the Reds are doing. Top 3 with Williamson, Pepio, and Lodolo. Okay. All right. The Giants brought in Blake Snell, it looks like, and obviously the Rays are still the Rays. But league leaders, Corbin Burns, like I said, I thought he was going to be a huge addition for us. I still can't believe we went out and got him, and we're able to get him for so cheap. I get his contract was expiring, but at the same time, okay. So Ohtani, MVP. Jazz was in the mix, which is awesome. 40 home runs, +10 and +8. Ooh, okay. 100 strikeouts, not bad. Almost 70 walks, 120 RBIs, 40 home runs. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Is up to a 99 overall. But Ohtani, yeah, put up some crazy numbers. 54 home runs. Yeah. Soto won it on the AL side, beating out Trout and Julio Rodriguez with 54 home runs. Cy Young went to Walker Buehler, who's now with the Twins. And Ohtani, who beat out Burns and Alcantara, which is garbage because he had just not as good as numbers. Just not a good numbers. All right. Mookie Betts won batting title. Same thing with Mike Trout. Penn Murphy, reliever of the year, along with Craig Kimbrell. And then we've got Davison De Los Santos and Bowden Francis as your rookies of the year. Okay. I know pitching is going to be a mess. Let me fix it. All right. Pitching wise, bullpen was kind of hit or miss. Like Trevor Rogers, I took him out of the starter role, put him into the 6th man long relief spot. 6 ERA, not ideal. Justin Topa, brought him back for another season, was really good. Ryan Weathers, also very solid. Same thing with Cody Hoyer. I think the moves that we made for the bullpen, pretty good in terms of the guys that we picked up. Sixto, very little appearances. You can kind of see he only pitched in how many games? 8 games, 14 innings pitched. I think as a middle relief guy, I think he's going to be good right here. Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to be our setup guy, who also, again, good pickup, had a really good season. And then AJ Puck, 43 saves. Can't complain about that. So really the only guy that could get called up was Enoli Paredes. Miguel Castro had 16 innings, got roughed up a bit, which is kind of tough to let me give him, playoff time. And let's look at our starters. Alcantara, fantastic, should have been a Cy Young winner. Corbin Burns should have been a Cy Young winner. Then it starts to get into the 4s with Jesus Luzardo, who again, not terrible numbers. Yuri Perez, I was kind of hoping for better. I'm not going to lie. And when you look at his per nines and his attributes, you'd expect a little bit better. And then Edward Cabrera, again, not terrible. I mean, they are 26, 21, 27, but you'd expect a little bit better out of them. Lineup wise, Brian De La Cruz facing lefties only, 150 at bats was absolutely insane. That is what I wanted from him. Jesus Sanchez off the bench, 58 at bats, so very small at bats compared to what he had last year, but was really good in his appearances. Can't complain. Ahmed Rosario kind of sucked, so I'm going to take him out versus righties. He was kind of bad just in general. And then Nick Fortes faced lefties, was decent. Garrett Hampson also fairly decent. So our bench, when called upon, was really good. Arise is going to get on base, 345, so not as good as last year, which is disappointing. Jazz was an MVP candidate, which you can see why. Crazy good numbers. Jake Berger, obviously not as good as last year. Sucks, but still our main power threat, along with Soler, who also kind of fell off a little bit. Gavin Sheets still put up some really good numbers, 27 home runs, which is awesome to see. Danny Jansen, I will take that from a catching spot for sure. Good average, good on base percentage, 17 home runs, can't complain. Verdugo, also very good. He actually had more at bats than what he did last year. Power numbers not as good in terms, I guess, just the doubles. He also had less hits. Not bad though. I'm not gonna complain about that. Those are okay numbers. And then Kurtz definitely did struggle this year, which is super disappointing. But he improved. But when you kind of look at what his attributes are currently at, most of them are under 70. I definitely see why he did struggle. I definitely rushed him. Oh well. Jordan Groshans is gonna start versus righties though, so that's awesome to see. There we go. And he was good. 61 games, 200 at bats. I mean, those are good numbers. Those are really good numbers. So he's going to start at shortstop versus righties. He plays first base versus lefties. Who are we going to face? Either the Reds or the Phillies, and it is going to be the Reds. We saw they had one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. What about their offense? And I mean, they're just rocking with a Reds team. They got the young guys coming up. They've got Pepio, Abbott, Green, Lodolo, Williamson, Diaz as well. Bullpen looks a little sus, not gonna lie, but I feel like we should win. All right, so here we go. Game 1, we lose. Game 2, we win. That's good. Luzardo wins it, and Perez, can we win it? Close it out? He does. All right, the Dodgers with Cabrera starting. I think that that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Honestly, what I should do is just move him here, which I think that gets Burns as the number 1. So we'll go like this, flip him, and go like that. So that'll be our 4 for the postseason. So Alcantara starts game 1. Let's take a look at the Dodgers team. Freeman's gonna lead off. They have Guillorme, okay. Jonathan India, Austin Meadows. Okay, it's a team we should beat. It's a team we should beat. As long as we can score runs, because they do have a good pitching staff, but as long as we can score runs, I feel like we can definitely limit this offense. This doesn't look like a good Dodgers team at all. All right. Bobby Miller, Dustin May. Ooh, those are going to be 2 tough matchups. We lose the first and the second, but we win the third. We win the fourth. We win the fifth. It comes down to Alcantara, and they're a little reverse sweep action. I like that. I mean, it was only 2 games, but we came back. You know, offense was quiet a little bit, but then we come back 2-0. We shut down their offense. 7-0. We shut down their offense again. 11-7. Okay, and then 3-1. I like that, and we're taking on the Rays. Okay, who do the Rays have? Okay. Interesting squad. Cam Minero. I mean, that guy's gonna be good in the future. Pitching looks really good. McClanahan, Glasnow, rumored to be traded in real life. They brought in Max Fried here. That's a good team. That's really good pitching. I'm more worried about their pitching than their offense, because their offense hasn't been that great based on, 250, 200, 128. A couple guys here and there are definitely popping off. But let's see here. Corbin Burns for day 1. Okay, so I think we go maybe Alcantara here. I think that's how we rock for the postseason, or for the World Series. Ooh, do I want that? I think so. All right, we gotta really stick it to the Rays. We need like a 2-game advantage right off the rip. There it is. That's huge. Yuri Perez gets us that 3rd, and now heading into game 4 on the road. Is Corbin Burns on the mound? It is Luzardo, but Luzardo's been struggling. We got to go Corbin Burns. Couple tired. Ooh, Groshans is struggling. Okay, let's go with, how can we do this? All right, how can I set this team up? So Berger there, and then at third base we go maybe Hampson, like that. Ooh, also Kurtz is struggling. I have faith in Kurtz. And Ahmed Rosario struggling versus lefties. Really? Okay, I think we maybe lower him in the lineup. I think that's how we do it. But we'll see what happens here. A fly out, a single, okay. A fly out, and then a pop up. an error. Man, that defense, we don't have the best defensive team, and the run scores because of it. Only one though. That's a tough first inning. That is a very tough first inning. Get that guy in scoring position, a ground out, a strikeout, and Ahmed Rosario, who's struggling, gets that tying run. That's huge. That's good for the confidence. Gets him going for the rest of the game. All right, we get out of that. So 2 kind of long innings though for Burns. So I kind of need him to lock it in. 1, 2, 3 innings big there, and nothing with the offense. So it's kind of quieted down a little bit. Good start with a walk. Ahmed, I told you, he just needed a little confidence boost. And now we're going. Kurtz was struggling. Now he brings in another. We're making it a 3-1 game. I'm telling you, you just got to get the confidence rolling and we're good to go. Burns is moving now. A little single for Hampson. Caught stealing. Got greedy. That's okay. Burns, I need you to give me this inning. That's all I need. There we go. Perfect. Let's see what we got going on here. Nothing. All right, we're going to take out Burns. Where are we in the lineup? Righty, lefty. The thing is, Yandy basically is like perfect contact versus both. And I also think Lau has reverse splits. I'm going to go Topa here. Was I right about Lau? I was not. Okay, so whatever. We're going to pitch anyways. We get the out. That's big. I want like 1 or 2 insurance runs here. If we could get that, that'd be great. Okay, no. A fly out, a ground out, and a fly out. That's big. We still got that 2-run lead. A single there. Okay. All right. Hampson. Oh, does he hit righties well? Do we have anybody that hits righties well on the bench? Let's see here. Groshans is kind of the same. Gavin Sheets only plays first. I could move Berger to third. But I think I found last time that I couldn't flip positions through this. So I'm gonna swing with Hampson. He flies out. Jazz strikes out. And I am gonna pinch hit here for Danny Jansen because he hits righties better. It didn't matter anyways. It's going to come down to AJ Puck. Comes down to AJ Puck. Can you win it for the Marlins? A pop-up, a strikeout. And Corbin Burns, player of the game. 0 runs over 6 innings with 4 strikeouts. Talk about a pickup by us. Verdugo, World Series MVP, playoff MVP Soler. Verdugo hit 600 in the World Series. Soler had a postseason. Chisholm had a postseason. And so did Arraez. Let's go take a look at the pitching staff really quickly. Luzardo did struggle, but the other 3 did fantastic. The bullpen, Cabrera struggled in the 2/3 that he pitched, but Topa was unbelievable. And so was Hoyer, so was Sir Anthony, and so was Puck. So the guys that we really needed to do well did. And I mean, 300 for Arraez, 300 for Jazz, 260 for Berger. I'll take that. 340 for Soler, 300 for Sheets. Who else? Verdugo hit 400 over 30 at-bats. Kurtz did struggle, and so did Groshans, but our bench picked them up with De La Cruz. Ahmed Rosario came clutch in that final game, and that's it. I mean, there it is. There's the Marlins rebuild. And that's the Marlins rebuild. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. And if you want more rebuilds, check out this Dodgers one that's on screen now. I think you'll enjoy it.